Life is full of decisions. With every decision, a brief instant of reflection occurs. In a split second, people weigh the possible benefits and repercussions of the decision they are about to make. Although cooperation is somewhat common among humans, a moment of thought before a decision can lead to a person diverging from their initial instinct. A group of scientists was curious as to whether or not humans are innately selfish or selfless. Using human subjects, the scientists performed 10 studies with economic games. They faced the subjects with certain decisions and determined the relationship between how long the subjects took to make the decision and what the decision was. Ultimately, those conducting the experiments came to a conclusion that when subjects responded quickly, they were more likely to contribute. Conversely, when the subjects reflected for a while, they commonly decided to act in a way that benefited them rather than the group. Initially, a public goods game with groups of 4 participants was conducted with 212 subjects found using the Amazon Mechanical Turk, an online labor market. In this game, participants were given 40 cents and asked how much they wanted to contribute to a pool. Any money contributed would be doubled and then split evenly amongst the group members. After this initial test was conducted, additional tests were run using constraints. The next test run involved 680 participants, also found using AMT. Participants were instructed to either make a quick decision in less than 10 seconds, or to reflect on their decision, greater than 10 seconds. Another experiment was then performed using 211 Boston area college students. This experiment was similar to the previous one, except that participants were then asked how much they expected other group members to contribute. The next experiment conducted involved 343 subjects, again found on AMT, and was similar to the original experiment run. However, in this experiment, the subjects were primed beforehand. Before reading the instructions of the experimental task, participants were divided into 2 groups and asked to write a paragraph. The first group, primed for intuition, was told to write about a time in their lives when intuition had led them in the right direction. The second group, primed for reflection, were instead asked to write about a time when reflection had benefited them. The test was then run again. However, some of the participants were told of the experiment's task beforehand. The final experiment was run similarly to the original experiment, except participants were grouped on whether or not they cooperated in everyday life. The results show a negative correlation between the decision time and contribution. The faster decisions, 1 to 10 seconds, contributed approximately 15% more than did the slower times. The control was the unconstrained time condition, in which the participants contributed approximately 7% more than the time-delayed subjects, and 9% less than the time-pressured subjects. In an interesting turn of events, when participants were asked what they thought others would contribute, the time-pressure subjects predicted that people would contribute over 10% less than was actually contributed. Conversely, when asked the same question, the time-delayed subjects predicted that people would contribute approximately 10% more than they actually did. When an experiment was performed to test intuition versus reflection in the absence of a time control, the results supported the previous experiments. When intuition was promoted and reflection was inhibited before asking for a contribution, the contribution was over 10% higher than the group in which reflection was promoted. This supports the hypothesis that higher contributions are innate and selfish behavior is the result of reflection and not human nature. Data shows that the naive and cooperative subjects were more likely to contribute when intuition is promoted and less time was given for decisions. The experienced and uncooperative subjects were less affected by the promotion of intuition or the time factor. The study found a direct correlation between faster decision times and more cooperation in social behavior. Typically, when a decision takes place in less than 10 seconds, the outcome of the decision will be beneficial to more than the person making the decision. Decisions over 10 seconds lead to about 13% less cooperation. This leads researchers to believe that cooperation is part of our genes, and that we have evolved to become social animals. To come to this conclusion, they analyzed the parts of our brains that make these decisions. Quick decisions usually occur with parallel processing, which is almost purely intuition and emotionally based, while slower decisions go through serial processing, which almost completely rejects all emotional influence. As a result, on average, intuition promotes more cooperation relative to reflection in the experiments. doesn't shatter all expectations about the behavior of humans, it does give some new perspective about why we act the way we do. If quick, intuitive decisions happen to be the most selfless decisions, then one can presume that it is human nature for us to be more cooperative and selfless towards others. And that is to say that our natural selflessness has helped us to progress to the heights that we currently sit at. If humans were in constant natural competition, would we have advanced as far as we have today? Probably not. And for this reason, the study on behavior, linked to the evolution and survival of our species, is important and relevant today.